Hannah Murray. TRE in the afternoon.
Good afternoon. Joining us on the line now is Peter Loveheim, an author and journalist whose new book, Gift Shop of Gratitude, looks at the impact of gratitude on mental health and how to cultivate thankfulness as we enter a new year. Welcome to the show, Peter.
So glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Great to have you with us. So how do you explain gratitude? What does it mean?
I think in simplest terms, gratitude is a feeling of being grateful for all the blessings in our life, all the things that make our lives rich and meaningful.
Yeah, and they can be really small things, can't they? I mean, it doesn't need to be big, grand things.
Right. It's an interesting thing about gratitude. I've found that it's quite easy for people to talk about gratitude in broad terms. One might say, I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my family. But in an odd way, it becomes more difficult for people to talk about gratitude with specificity. And what I try to do in Gift Shop of Gratitude is provide a way for people to remember, think about, and then put into words all the people, the places, and experiences that they're most grateful for.
So where does the title come from? It's a nice idea, Gift Shop of Gratitude.
My wife recently retired, and we've been traveling more. And what we found, whether we're in the U.S. or in Europe, is that pretty much wherever we go, whether it's a national park, a museum, any kind of tourist site, we're required to exit through the gift shop. Not requested, actually required. Often there's no other way out. And at first I was put off by this, but then I started to think that a gift shop can be a metaphor for all the things that we're blessed with in our lives, all the good things in our lives. So I wrote this book, Gift Shop of Gratitude. It's a journal full of stories that prompt you to remember and write down the specific things you're most grateful for. And the prompts are stories based on 20 items that you'd find in any gift shop in the world, from snow globes to tote bags and T-shirts, that help you recall, as I say, the people, places, and experiences that you most value. And my hope is that when people fill out this journal, they will have created a family keepsake of memories for children and grandchildren and everyone they love. And it's a way, in that sense, of saying, this is who I am. These are the things I cherish.
So explain a little bit more about the layout of the book, can you?
Well, there's 20 chapters. They're all brief, but they tell stories about 20 items in a gift shop. I'll give you an example. One of the early chapters is about bobbleheads. And I find that in gift shops, bobbleheads are sort of geographically oriented. So if you're in Las Vegas, Nevada, for example, the bobbleheads are going to be of entertainers like Elvis. If you come to Washington, D.C., where I am now, bobbleheads are always of presidents, past, current, and wannabe. And they're sort of cartoonish figures, but actually I found they have a serious history. They go back to 1,000 years to China and India, where they were called shaking head dolls, and they were revered members of a community, often the elders. So in my book, Gift Shop of Gratitude, I use the bobblehead as a prompt to help people think about those who help them along the way in life, specifically their best teachers, mentors. And I talk about my best teacher from the sixth grade who helped me a great deal, and early editors who helped me along the way in my writing career. So in this chapter, there's room, I call the gratitude pages, where people can write down who they want to honor with a bobblehead, and write a little about who those people were and why they want to honor them and why they're grateful for those people having come into their lives. Yeah. And that's just 20 chapters.
Yeah, and it's a good thing to do that, a nice kind of way to reflect on positive people in your life, people who have influenced your life, people who have, given you a good job or important moments throughout education and things like you mentioned. It's good to remember those people and be reminded of those people.
Right. And so another chapter, just randomly, is about souvenir spoons. You know, these are those little spoons you find in every gift shop, usually with the name of a location written on the bowl of the spoon. I use the souvenir spoon in the book as a prompt to think about memorable meals we've shared with special people. So this might be maybe the first dinner you had with the person who ended up being your spouse. Maybe it was, I think about my oldest child when she turned 1 year old. And I remember using a little spoon, like a souvenir spoon, to feed her first solid food. I think it was applesauce. Mm-hmm. But these are memorable meals, and they're part of the things in our lives that we end up being very grateful for.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of research into gratitude and what of an impact that it has on our mental health. Can you just explain some of that, why it's such a good thing?
There are a lot of studies over the years showing that cultivating a sense of gratitude can be an effective countermeasure to stress and anxiety, a way of coping. I mean, there's a lot of people stressed and anxious over maybe the economy or politics these days. And we often can't do much as individuals about those large issues, but we can cope with the stress and anxiety we feel. And cultivating a sense of gratitude is definitely one way of doing that. There was a very interesting study that came out this past summer from the Harvard School of Public Health that goes even further. It suggests that developing a sense of gratitude can actually prolong our lives, help us live longer. And particularly if we're able to maintain in our minds a list of very specific things we're grateful for. So that's really what Gift Shop of Gratitude is aimed at, helping people develop that list and write down specifics so that this chronicle of gratitude is always in front of you. And in tough times, stressful times, you can look at it and be reminded of all the good things that we have in our lives. Mm-hmm. And as I say, beyond that, it becomes a family keepsake, a way of saying to children and grandchildren, these are the things I most cherished. Yeah. This is who I was.
Is there a particular time of the day or time of the week when you think it's a good time for people to do this, to sit down and have a moment and think about what they're grateful for and write in the journal?
What an interesting question. I had never considered there might be a optimum time to do that. I'm not sure I really can think of one. I think it's whenever these ideas come into our heads. You know, it's one of the I've written 8 other books, and I think in many ways this was the most fun to work on because these 20 gift shop items prompted me to remember long forgotten things that, in fact, I'm very grateful for. So I think any time of the day that you'd like to reflect on the good parts of life, that's a good time to do this.
Yeah. And can you share with us some things that it's reminded you of, the things that you're grateful for in your life?
Sure. I have another chapter in the book on scented candles. Every gift shop has these. Usually they're lavender or lemon scented. But in the book, I use them as prompts to remember aromas from early in our lives that help us recall things we're especially grateful for. So I give the examples of the smell of printer's ink. My dad had a print shop when I was growing up, and as soon as I'd enter that building, I could smell the printer's ink. And to this day, it reminds me of how grateful I am that my dad had his own small business and the sense of security that gave to me and everyone in my family. I also recall the scent of autumn leaves being burned in our suburban street. We don't do that anymore for environmental reasons, but I do remember the sweet smell of leaves burning in the street. And that helps me recall my childhood home and how many fine memories I have of that. So those are two smells that I recall that scented candles prompted for me. And I invite the reader then to remember some of those for themselves.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, how a smell or a piece of music, or even just the beginning of a piece of music, can take you to another time, and really evoke incredible memories. That a smell or a sound can make you cry or make you laugh, make you smile, because it takes you right back to that moment.
Right, exactly. I have another chapter in the book, kind of a fun one, about T-shirts. Gift shops always sell T-shirts, usually with the name of the location on them. But I found a study that showed that at least in America, 9 out of 10 people have a T-shirt in their drawer that they no longer wear but cannot throw out for sentimental reasons. So in the book, I use T-shirts as a prompt to think about experiences we've had that we're especially grateful for. Might be a concert you went to as a younger person, maybe a big family reunion where you had T-shirts made up for that event. And for myself, I actually have a T-shirt in my drawer from when I was 14 years old at summer camp. I could no longer wear this even if I wanted to, but like the study shows, I can't throw it out because it reminds me of an especially good summer. So let me ask you, do you have a T-shirt that you can't throw out?
Yeah, I was laughing when you mentioned it because I was trying to think how many I had, but I've actually done instead of keeping it in a drawer, I have like a small bag that's in a different part of the wardrobe, so I don't, so it's not kind of in the way of day-to-day items of clothing. But yeah, I have various T-shirts from like fun runs and things that I did as a child. Also,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, with roles in various theatre productions, where we had T-shirts made, things like that have, a huge amount of memory attached to them that I'm never going to wear. But whenever I get them out of the bag and look at them, I smile and I'm pleased I've got them.
Right. And you can't throw them out.
No.
Well, this is the larger point here, that we might go through a period like a rough time where we're depressed, we're anxious, we're stressed. It's exactly at that time you want to be able to recall so many of these often long forgotten memories of things that have been good in our lives and that we're grateful for. And the T-shirts and the souvenir spoons, the bobbleheads and the scented candles and many other items you find in a gift shop are simply prompts to help us recall these often forgotten memories and help cultivate and maintain a sense of gratitude, which is so important for both physical and emotional health.
Yeah. And I feel like it's a good time at the start of a new year for people to be aware of gratitude. And if it's something that they haven't been thinking about before, that it's a good time to start thinking about it.
Well, we talk about New Year's resolutions, and something new that we're going to do is a typical resolution. But I would argue that just as important is a resolution to remember the many things that have already occurred in our lives for which we can be always grateful.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if people want to get a copy of the book, it's called Gift Shop of Gratitude, a journal to explore the journey of your life. It's available on our website, TRE.radio, and it's by Peter Loveheim, who we've been chatting with today. Peter, thank you so much for joining us.
What a pleasure. Thanks for having me.